going on forever. Saying hi to everybody online there. If you can hear me, please say something in the chat window. Just want to make sure that I am heard and you are there. So chat away to me. I'm not seeing a chat, which makes me nervous. Nervous that I'm being not heard. All right, let me check my audio is on. Can you hear me? Is my audio on here? Yes. All right. Great. Welcome. Thank you, Hema, and Melissa. Welcome. So you're here today to talk about Agile brand building as an Agile coach, practitioner, Scrum Master, project manager kind of person, and I'm just going to jump right into it. So just to start off, everything today that we'll talk with you about is doable whether you're an employee or a business owner. This is the second webinar on this class that I've done, and the first one I got some feedback. You know, being an Agile guy, I seek feedback and adapt on the next one. So wanted to make it really clear that everything that we do, you can do if you're an employee or not. This stuff will form the foundation for you of your transition plan if you're wanting to go from an employee to being a freelancer or a business owner. But it also is totally useful for you if you're just planning on being an employee, because everybody today needs to implement some brand building things, even if you're an employee. So these things will then lead you to your 5 freedoms. Some of you on the call today had a chance to take my assessment before the call. If you didn't, I'll be sending it out to everybody after, and you can go back and take the assessment. It looks at 6 different aspects of you and asks you some other additional questions about, you know, your desires and hopes and goals with this stuff, your career and business life. But talking about those 5 freedoms, I took all the data that I've collected so far, which is quite a bit, and summarized it in a couple of different charts. One of them is this. These are the 5 freedoms that I ask people to prioritize, and pretty clear prioritization here. There's 2 important ones and 3 that are less important, though I don't think any of them are unimportant to us all. Time freedom and financial freedom. Customer freedom is it's the ability to work with who you want to work with, right? Sometimes you don't want to work with X client because you don't believe in the product that they are doing or with the way they work, or I don't know, you just don't want to work with them, right? Purpose freedom, why you work, right? If you are a business owner, you get to define your own why. And the fact of the matter is, even if you're not a business owner, if you're an employee, you still get to define your own why, right? That's your purpose freedom. And then process freedom is a big one for me. I want to work the way I want to work because I'm always innovating the way I apply and create and move, change agility. So I want to have the freedom to work my own way. And that's one of the big reasons that I started my business and built my own company. So, and this is really, this is part of it. This slide shares with you a little slice of Joseph's life. At the top, you'll see a picture of my middle daughter, who is an equestrian hunter jumper rider. That was last week. I went out to her lesson. Those of you from the Northwest can recognize the dark because it gets dark up here early. But yeah, she was jumping and enjoying it, and I love being able to have her do that and have the financial freedom to be able to have her do that, and 2, the time freedom to be able to go and watch her, right? To be able to just go and be there with her. Bottom left picture that's my oldest daughter, and this spring we took a tour of colleges. She's graduating this year. So there's some financial freedom right there to be able to send her to college and, look at the different colleges that she wants to. She's looking at some crazy colleges that are really expensive, but, to have the financial freedom and confidence that, yeah, we can do it. And that last picture is just my happy place. That picture was taken in Roatan, Honduras, where we took a little vacation just recently. It's, wow, beautiful. All of us, except for the littlest one right there, are scuba divers. So the other four of us are scuba divers. And Roatan has the second largest barrier reef in the world. And we spent a lot of time scuba diving. And we're going to go back, and she's going to get certified there. So, or maybe she'll get certified here. I'd rather she gets certified here because then it's cold water. Roatan, it's like 80-degree water. It's beautiful. But that's what we're looking for. That's what I wanted to get, and I'm starting to see it. It's a great thing. A little bit about me. Some of you know me really well. We've been friends or colleagues for years. Some of you, we're just meeting. So this is me. I'm Joseph. Oh, see, here we go. Oops, webcam is disabled. Oh, I was going to pop it on my face for a second, but oh well. This is me. I am known as the Organizational Alchemist. I was explaining what I do to a mentor of mine, and he said, "Oh, because I pull from different disciplines and I mix them and create new different approaches, not just straight up agile stuff." And he's like, "Oh, you're an organizational alchemist." I was like, I'm keeping that. I am claiming that as who I am, because that's what I do, right? I'm the author of the book Being Agile in a Waterfall World. If you don't have a copy, I can get you a copy, or you can buy it on Amazon. I can send you a link to a free downloadable version, or you can buy the book on Amazon. I'm a popular keynote speaker, speak around the world. I've spoken in as far away as Beijing and Oslo, London, Poznan, Poland. I don't remember other places, and all over the United States. I love keynote speaking because, well, I get excited on stage. I just get kind of passionate. You can probably hear it in my voice right now. Even though I can't see you, personally, I get energized by being around people and sharing my experiences with them because I know that they can help. For the past 20 years, 2 decades, I've been leading and training organizations in traditional and agile practices. So I kind of have a foot in both camps from my history. Was a traditional project manager for a good 12 years or so before I drank the Agile Kool-Aid, and now I believe that there's a place for both of them. As a matter of fact, I'm working with someone right now to do a talk on that. Those two things can coexist together, right? Yeah, beautiful stuff. But most of all, I feel my mission, my purpose, is to bring hope and joy to people in their work. That's what gets me up in the morning, right? That applies to what I'm doing here with you, and it applies to what I do with my customers and clients, doing agile consulting and coaching. I bring hope and joy to people in their work. It's not unusual to have a client stop me in a hallway and say, "Hey, this actually happened like 6 months after starting with this company." They say, "Hey, Joseph, I just wanted to thank you. I used to be hell to come here, and now I really love my job. I look forward to it. You revolutionized my life." And that will get you up in the morning, right? That's what puts a smile on my face, to be able to remember those people. Hey, here's a quick tip for you. It just crossed my mind. It's not on the program at all. Keep a smile file. When someone says something like that, or someone sends you a good email, I hope you've got paper and pencils in front of you because I'm going to be throwing a lot of truth bombs at you. When someone gives you a compliment or sends you a hey, thank you email, print it off or write it down and put it in your smile file. So on those days when you're feeling like crap, you can go to that file and go, hey, I do really good work. This is a bumpy day, but I do really good work. And people, gosh darn it, people like me. But really. So for those of you who took the assessment, I summarized all of the data from everyone who took it. And this is the composite. Now, obviously, a summary is in error by its very nature when it's talking about everybody. But consistently, I was seeing that marketing and sales were the lowest, and legal and finance. I am not a lawyer, and I do not claim to give financial advice. So when it comes to those things in the classes we'll have, I actually will bring in lawyers and accountants to talk about, hey, here's what you need to do. You need to have a lawyer and you need to have an accountant, period. Find one. The best way to find one is to get referrals. If you're in Seattle, I can help you find them up here. Other places in the country, talk to people in your neighborhood. But today we're going to talk all about marketing because that was consistently the low point on people's assessments, and it feeds the other things. So interestingly, lots of people were really high in their purpose. They really understood who they were and why they did what they did, which is fantastic. I feel like I'm constantly refining that and growing and changing those things, but it's really exciting. So this was the summary data on that. There in the assessment, there were also these key issues, right? What's your biggest struggle right now, or your key problem? I don't remember exactly how the question was worded, but it essentially was, what are you struggling with? And these were the big, summary answers. And they kind of fell into three or four groups. You'll see here, I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan to do this. I'm not currently self-employed. So there's these first couple that are, I don't have a plan. Then it's, I'm not currently self-employed. I work for a corporation. Don't own my business, blah, 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 right? I'm an employee. And then there's those that are, hey, my pipeline is light, acquiring clients, marketing growth, tiny market, conservative niche, finding customers. So these are all growth and finding customers. Oops, I'll get back to that one. These are all needing customers. And then this one over here was clear message on what I'm selling. So that's your value proposition. And how do you say, this is what I do? I'm going to tell you, everybody struggles with all of these, all four of these. Everybody starts off as an employee. There are very few people who just go, I'm going to be a consultant from the day I graduate from college or get out of high school. Very few people do that. So everybody makes this transition. Lots of people start off with no plan. Everybody struggles with needing to get new customers. Even when you have lots of customers, you want more customers, right? We're insatiable in that way. And defining your value proposition is something that we hone and refine and work on over and over. And there's exercises we can do and things like that. When I'm coaching some of my clients, I work on value proposition quite a bit, just because that's a piece it's tough, and you need to work on it because you need to be able to explain what you do easily and quickly. Like mine, I bring hope and joy to work. Wow, how do you do that? Well, then you're in a conversation. All right, so this webinar we're 17 minutes into is for you if you are an employee and want to get a new job or a promotion, right? Everything we cover in here is going to be applicable to you. It's applicable to you if you are an employee and want to start a business someday, right? Not today, not next month. I'm working with individual coaching clients who are looking at a year out, right? And I'm working with them, and they're growing their base plan and growing their presence and getting those contacts. So it's important for those things. If you're a freelance coach or consultant and want to get clients easier, this is good stuff. It's exactly what you need. And if you're a business owner, there's a difference between a freelance coach and a business owner. And I don't have time to go into it today, but if you are a business owner, you know it, and you want a more stable flow of clients, this is for you. Everything in here will apply to you. So a little bit of what this class is and is not. So wait, go back. If you meet these things, this is the perfect class. You're in the right place, okay? What this class is and is not. It is not about getting rich quick. I'm sorry, starting a business is hard. It is hard work. I'm not going to blow smoke. This is a hype-free zone. I'm not going to hype you up and get you excited about starting a business. I may actually scare you off. I don't know, because I'm going to be brutally honest with you about it. It takes hard work. I was literally reading an article last night. If you want me to, send me a message, I can forward the article to you. But it was about people in the startup world, which is a little bit different than what we're doing, and the rate of depression and suicide actually in those people. So, woohoo! Let's get you excited about starting your business. But it's hard work. But man, is it worth it, right? When it really starts to pay off, when the wheels start to roll, when the ball gets rolling down the hill, since you've pushed it up far enough, it's really, really worth it. And I want to make it really clear, this is not about how to coach, right? I don't want to coach coaches on coaching. That's not my gig. I'm happy to talk about it with you and whatever, but that's not what this is about. This is about building your brand platform, building your business, growing your business. There's lots of classes, right? Lisa Adkins and the Coach Training Institute, I think that's what it is fantastic. I've taken her class and it's great. So it's not about how to coach. Also, I'll be sharing some of my results, and legally you have to make these disclaimers. My results are not typical. They're not even expected. That actually most people who take on an endeavor like this or buy any kind of product or those kinds of things, they never actually end up implementing them, or they have some situation that's different. And so my results can't be claimed as typical. So that's all. Legal schmiegel. 2 weeks ago, I had the benefit of taking my oldest daughter and getting some awesome seats for this conference where Robert Herjavec, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Tony Robbins, were all speaking. It was really cool. It was really an exciting conference. Of course, they booked some other people in there that we were like, I don't want to listen to these guys, so we went and had lunch. But Robert Herjavec started off the day, and he was really amazing. One of the things that stood out to me was this phrase, and it really drives home why you need a solid brand. He said, nobody ever leaves good enough for slightly better, right? So today, if you don't have a brand that people go, oh yeah, that's Melissa. I want Melissa, right? Don't get me a consultant or a coach, get me Melissa. The customers will put you in a box if you don't have that brand. That box is labeled coaches, and that box has a price range on it that they already think of. And if you don't have a solid, an outstanding brand, you'll be in that box, and everybody in that box has the same price. They're all good enough, right? Because they're not distinctive. And they'll never leave you for somebody, they'll never leave who they're with for you unless you're outstanding, unless they go, wow, right? So you need to wow them. Little bit of my story. back in, I don't remember, 2008 when the market was crashing. I decided it was a good time to start a business. It was a good idea. It really was. And actually, it went really well. But I wasn't prepared for the 6-month cycle of from contact to contract, right? On average, it was taking me 6 months to go from contact to contract. And what I would do then is work really hard on that contract, not make any more contacts, and then get done with that contract and have to go find another contact and make the 6-month journey to contract. And it's not unusual to have that happen. So you need to stop it. This is not the webinar about feast or famine, but I can talk with you about that later if you want to. I'll probably talk about it in the class. But feast or famine is a thing, and I don't want you to experience it. So I wrote my book then, Being Agile in a Waterfall World. I launched it just in time for the PMI Global Congress. Literally had to ship the books to the Congress because they were just literally printed and shipped straight there. I had literally finished them at the moment before. Then after that, I didn't have a contract going yet. I was writing my book. Spent a lot of time doing that. And this was probably the lowest point, the most stress that I probably have ever been under. It was the week before Christmas, and I had a gig. I had a contract, and back then it was just a gig, and a good one. But they had a 45-day net 45 contract terms, which means you don't get paid for 45 days. Well, it was like literally days before Christmas, and we had no money. Looking at going, I don't know what we can do for Christmas for our kids, right? 3 daughters that need Christmas to happen. And it was stressful, literally praying all day that day. Please let their check hit my bank tonight. It was Friday. It's not going to happen over the weekend. Fortunately, it did. And, things were okay. We had Christmas, but that was tough. Then I started working with my own coach. Here's a thought. We tell people that they need coaches. Yes? Yes. Right? Yes. If you tell people that they need to use an Agile coach, I want to hear from you. I don't want to just sit here babbling. Yes? Do you tell people that they need Agile coaches? Come on. Knock, knock. Are you people just listening to me and not actually in the room? Well, we do. I tell them all the time that they need Agile coaches. And yes, thank you. Yeah, we do. But we don't have them ourselves? What's up with that? Zig Ziglar used to say the first sale is always to yourself. He tells a story of a kid who was really struggling to make sales of their pots and pans. They were selling cookware, obviously. And Zig asked the kid, do you own a set? He's like, no, it's really expensive. I haven't had a chance to buy it yet. And Zig said, that's why you're not selling. Because you believe that it's too expensive. And you believe that you can't afford it. And so when your customers say it's too expensive and they can't afford it, you go along with it because that you believe the same thing. You don't believe that it's worth it. So the next week, the guy went deep, had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to buy some of the cookware. And suddenly he was starting to sell like crazy because he was using it. And he had personal stories about how coaching had changed his life. How coaching had changed, how the cookware had changed his life, right? Had changed his cooking. I can tell you how coaching has changed my life and why you need a coach, right? Why Agile coaches are useful, because everybody needs a coach. So I started working with a coach, and then I had my first $500,000 year. Yes, it was really nice. That was really nice. And from there, I learned a lot about marketing, and that's what I'll be sharing mostly with you today. And boom, 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 moving up there, learned how to scale that marketing, which is the big trick. And I'll share that with you here. And right now, I'm on track to the best year we will have had ever. I'm not going to share my goal because I don't want to curse it, but I'm excited about it. It's going to be a freaking good year. So today we're going to look mostly at marketing, but I wanted to show you what my 7-8 years into my business, what my business model looks like, and it is this mind map that I created. I actually created this because I was thinking that I would create a class to teach everything I do, all of this stuff. And then I realized that would be like drinking from a fire hose and no one would buy it because it's like, oh my God, there's too much there. These are the main core items, the 6 core, the why, entrepreneur mindset, finance and legal, innovation, sales, and marketing. Looks fairly familiar, doesn't it? Those are the 6 elements that were on the assessment. That's why I put them there. These down here are resources. If you didn't get the 20-page document that has this in it, and it has the resources documents on it, if you didn't get it, I'll send it out again after we're done with this webinar, so you'll see it. But today we're going to talk only about these 2 little pieces here, and actually some sub pieces within, and those are the marketing and advanced marketing part 1 and 2, because that's the stuff you can start now and need to start now. It's what I started. I started my marketing 2 years before I launched my business. And marketing doesn't have to just be, marketing isn't just advertising. Marketing is a lot of different things. So we'll talk about how to build your brand quickly. And that's the first thing we're going to do here is hit that creating content. Marketing is a lot about content today, content marketing. So what is content? Content is anything, webinars, articles, blog posts, your Twitter feed, yes, your Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, right? LinkedIn has both the status updates and articles. You'll notice that I write a lot of both of those things. You'll see me writing articles, and obviously you're on a webinar with me. I do all of this over and over and over again. I didn't include Instagram on here, but I have a Instagram, and all my little memes go on Instagram. We'll talk about those things today. Why content? Well, even if you're an employee, you might be thinking, well, I don't need to do this content stuff because I'm an employee, and I don't want to start my own business. Maybe 5 years from now I'll start a business. That's why you need to start now with the content, because here's some stats. Really interesting actually. When I grabbed these, I just stumbled across them from the JobVite page and then Business News Daily. This chart was from JobVite. 60% of employers admit to using social media research to check out applicants. So if you're looking for a new job, 6 out of the 10 people that you interview with are looking at your social media feed. And what are they looking at? They're looking at your LinkedIn profile and Facebook. They'll take a look at Twitter and maybe some of the other things, right? Instagram, YouTube, your blog, but mostly LinkedIn and Facebook. So that's why I said on the last page, Facebook is important. And if you go to I have a Facebook page for Whitewater Projects, and then my personal page as well, but everything's public on my page because I'm a public figure, right? You are a public figure when you decide to be a business. You can have your own, you can have a web page, a Facebook page, and that's a public thing if you don't want to open up your own Facebook site. So I've just gone with, I'm going to be open. So that's why, because everybody's looking at it. And if someone's going to hire you as a consultant later, they want to see that. So actually, I want to show you something right now. I'm going to change what I'm sharing. I think I want to share this. Yes. What I share is this. Hopefully you're able to see this Google page right now. If not, I'm sorry. So I just wanted to do this. Here's my name. This is what creating massive content can do for you. Joseph. First thing, LinkedIn profile. Oh, check this out. Here's my account information. My Google Plus shows up over here. If you search for me, you'll get the same Google Plus stuff. There's my tech target contributor page. Here's my personal Whitewater projects page. Here's my blog on CIO.com. I did not want to click on it. Good. Here is my page on Gigmasters, which is a site for speakers, public speakers. My SlideShare presentations, my book on Amazon, another page of my book on Amazon. This is this is my authors page, and this is my book page. And here's my page on projectmanagement.com, right? News. You wouldn't think you'd find me in the news, but come on, click. It's not clicking. No, oh, because it freaked out here, sorry. Back, Joseph Flahiff, there we go, and news. All right, here's the news. What do you see? Here's my latest article. No, that's not my latest article. That's an article, though, on empowering employees in the workplace. Here's my CIO.com blog. Another article on Tech Target. Another article on Tech Target. Tech Target's great. I will write for them a lot. Right? This is not me. This is a different Joseph Flahiff. 1. Organizational agility, best way to leverage change. Okay, so far, 1 entry has been not me. Images, let's see. What do we have? That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. This is not me, but this is a testimonial video of a guy, actually he was from Hanford Nuclear Site, and I did a class called Being Agile in Waterfall World, and he was giving a testimony there about how even though his job is to work with the bulldozers and the people who are cleaning up the nuclear waste site, he was able to apply what I talked about, mostly the leadership aspects of it, but he was very excited about it. Me. That's my brother. This is me with the class in Oslo. That's me in the white shirt. This is my CEO daily articles. This is an infographic. All of these. Me. This is a testimonial video about me. This is a GoFundMe that I did for raising money for Mary's Place, a homeless shelter for mothers and their children. Same thing here. Me. That's not me. 2. This is me. That's not me. 3. Okay, so pretty much all me. That's not me. Search CIO Tech Target. It's probably a comment on one of my things. This is not me. Oh, that's my brother. So you can see that most of it is me. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to show you what happens when you flood your branding. And here under videos, here's my YouTube channel. Here's my latest stuff I've been doing. If you're not signed up, if you're not following me on YouTube, go follow me on YouTube, because I'm doing something now called the Daily Grind, where I'm posting a short, 1, 2, 3 minute video every day. Just inspirational. Here's what I'm doing. Really more documenting what I'm doing than telling you things. Right? I'm sharing how I'm running my business. But these are all my videos. Here's my videos on Vimeo. Blah blah blah. So enough of that. Just wanted to share that's what happens when you build your brand. So good content creates credibility in the market, right? So those people who are looking to either hire you as an employee or looking to find a speaker for an event or whatever, it gives you credibility. This person is active. Opinionated content makes you differentiated, right? It differentiates you from the other people in the market. That makes people go, I think I want to hear that person's opinion because they stand out. And original thought makes you an authority. So when you come up with a new process, a new paradigm, a new program, that makes you an authority in the market, or it begins to make you authority in the market. You have to talk about it. The most interesting thing that happened to me was when I realized I was whining a lot about in my head about how these, why isn't anybody listening to me? What's going on? Why isn't it? I was asking myself the wrong question, right? If you ask yourself questions like that, like, why isn't anything going right? Write this down. Why isn't anything going right? Why doesn't anybody call me? Why can't I get more clients? Your brain goes, I have to come up with an answer. The answer is you suck, right? you don't know this, you're bad that, because you've asked your brain a question to give you an answer. So ask it a better question. Ask it a question, more probably a what question than a why question. Why questions will tend to lead you to those negative answers. Why won't this happen? What questions? What can I do to make this better? What can I do to get more clients? What can I do to reach more people? What can I do to get my message out? Then your brain goes, write more media, contact more people, right? Your brain will come up with a better answer. Not my idea. That's a Tony Robbins thing. So here we go. Speed content development. This is one of the things you've been waiting for. I can write an article in 45 minutes, half an hour to 45 minutes, and get it to my editor. But I have to focus. I have to turn off my phone. I have to turn off my email, Twitter, Facebook, any kind of notifications. And I have to probably put in headphones with, I will usually play, you can go to YouTube and play waves, right? Beach waves, because that's my happy place. So I'll put on the headphones and play beach waves just to create white noise in the background and just barf it out, right? Know where you're going and know where you're starting. If you have those two pieces, you can usually get through it and work out while you're writing. At least this is how I do it. I work out while I'm writing the thought process through that. I'm writing an article. I just recently wrote an article called 4-Letter Words, that we need to use more 4-letter words in business. And I'll show you some things that I did with that. But I wrote that article in half an hour. And I did it just by barfing it out onto the page. I knew what I wanted to say from the beginning, which was something to hook you and grab your attention. And then in the end, I wanted it to end with the 4-letter word that's most important. Well, the 4-letter word that I want you to stop using is hate. Like, oh, I hate this show. Oh, I hate pears, right? Because it's such a dangerous word if you become immune to it. If you get inoculated by using it, you become immune to it, and then you can use it in wrong situations. Like in your head, you might use it like, I hate Susie. I hate the way my hair looks or my face looks, right? So stop using those words, 4-letter words, and start using 4-letter words like hope, right? And the last one I ended with was love. We need to use the word love in business more often, right? I love my customers. I really do. I love the people I work with. I love my employees. Anyway, go read the article. It's fun. Don't wait to be in the mood. Write to get in the mood to write. Don't wait to be in the mood to write. Just start writing. Know where you're going. What's the insight you're trying to get to? And finally, the most important piece of advice I ever got, ever, is this. It doesn't have to be perfect, just helpful. We want to write War and Peace. Your customers don't want to read War and Peace. Generally, they want something quick and short, useful, that they can apply right away, right? That challenges their thinking and gives them something to do. I have a little formula that I use when I'm writing, that at the end of my writing, I say, think, act, share. And I put a couple things. Think about how you might use this in these situations. Act, do these things. Try this action to put this into practice. Share these thoughts with someone and have a discussion about it. Because if you think about it, it'll get more cemented. If you act on it, it will be even more cemented. And if you share it, then you have to understand it more deeply to be able to repeat it and share what it is you're talking about. If you did the video beforehand, if you watched the pre-video on your coach profile, you'll understand what I'm talking about here. If you're a technical delegator, for example, so I want to say, focus on your strength and always write from that position. Always write from the voice that is who you are, right? So if you're a technical delegator, then you always want to be writing from a technical delegation perspective. So you'll be writing about technical things usually, and how giving the learning back to the customer allowed them to grow, and telling stories around that. If you're a culture-focused coach who's a motivator, then you'll be telling stories about how you worked with X CEO and you inspired them to do Y, and how that changed the organization, right? So always be writing from your perspective so people get familiar with you and know what to expect from you. Now, it may take you a while to figure out what your perspective is, and that's fine too, but try and stay focused for at least 5-6 months at a time. Fun idea generator. Use this, any one of these title generator websites to get ideas for writing articles. I love using this when I'm stuck for an article. So that's just a fun page. I'll give the slides to you later. Don't use these things for your titles, though. I tend to go to a swipe file. If you don't know what a swipe file is, it's a long listing of useful titles that have worked in the past, right? So if you see those titles on Facebook, right, the things on the right-hand side, the clickbait stuff that says, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but 10 ways to lose weight without exercising or changing what you eat, right? That 10 ways to X while Y is a format, right? And you can use those formats to get to build better headlines and build better content. So next thing, so you've written an article. What do you do with that? So you posted it on LinkedIn. Yay, I got 25 hits. Now what? Now you need to magnify and multiply. This section is about creating tons of content, not just content. So the word is repurposing. And repurposing is taking something that you've written once and reusing it. So I was told about repurposing several years ago, and I just didn't understand what people meant by that, because Google doesn't like you if you post the same thing in two places. It downgrades the site, both sites. So do this, for example. I wrote that article on 4-letter words. Then I did a Facebook post on it. You may have seen it. Then I did a LinkedIn. Did I do a LinkedIn? I thought I did a LinkedIn article yesterday on it. If not, I will. And do a LinkedIn post about it. Pull ideas out of it and put them in for those posts, right? The status updates. Pull key ideas out of the article and make them status updates. Then take those same ideas and make them Twitter updates, right? So now you're posting to LinkedIn, you're posting to Twitter, you're posting to Facebook, you're getting all over the place. Maybe you take that article and repost it, change it, right? So you'll take a look at it and you go, okay, I'm going to say the same thing, but I'm going to change some things around in it. Because I don't know about you, but I can always rewrite an article. I've written it once. I know the ideas. So now I want to just add or subtract or modify. It's just like editing it again, but do a heavy edit so that it changes significantly enough and repost it. Post it as a guest post on somebody's blog that you respect or that you share guest posting with. All kinds of things. So here's one that I had. Two examples for you here. The example I was just giving you was like immediate. That was yesterday. I had this: fire all your managers. Supportive leadership is management's new role. That was the first article I wrote. Then I wrote this one: how Tim Gunn made supportive leadership work. This was a headline that I got from a swipe file, right? How Tim Gunn made blah, blah, blah work, right? It was just a format that I went, oh God, that works perfect for me. And then I did a podcast on the PM podcast website on supportive leadership and tweeted about it, and people were tweeting back about it. So we had conversations on the internet about it. You're just taking that same thing and reusing, reposting, so that people go, damn, they're everywhere. This idea is huge, right? Because they just keep seeing it. And now for the ultimate brand building secret. It is about 10 till. We're going to go a little bit long. Sorry. If you have to leave, I have a replay for you, but I don't want to speed through, especially this part and the end part, because they're so important. This is what's working. This is the big thing that is working because you see it all the time. And it is visuals. Anything visual is huge. We're visual creatures. People talk about, visual learners. My wife is an educator, and everyone is a visual learner. Some people have other things that they also do, but everyone has a large amount of visual learning that they do. So memes, you see them everywhere, right? Great quotes from like Simon Sinek. He's doing them all the time. You'll see Simon's face and a quote next to it. Well, I started doing that, I don't know, about a year ago. Maybe it was less than a year, 9 months ago. And have just been doing a ton of them. And they get shared, they get liked, they get posted around because they're easy, right? They're quick. And all you do is take those great quotes that you had maybe already posted as a LinkedIn status update, and maybe you tweeted it. Take that same thing, stick it in a picture, and off it goes. I had a photo shoot done. Found a photographer who did a great job for me. She was really inexpensive because she was new at it and just wanted to do it. She did a pretty good job, and I got a bunch of pictures out of it. And so I just used those pictures and just slapped those words into it. I tend to use a weird way of making these memes. There's tools for making them, like websites where you can go like drop a picture in and put your text in. I find that stifling. So I just use Microsoft PowerPoint. If you're anything like me, you've made a bajillion PowerPoints. I can use PowerPoint as a graphical editing tool better than I can use anything else, right? I just know the tool well enough. So I take my picture, I import my picture, and I put a little text next to it, and put a little text next to the next one. And so these are all just different slides that I made with my little memes. And then you say, save as JPEG. And it says, do you want to save just this page? Or do you want to save the entire deck? And I say entire deck. And it just barfs out, 25 memes. That's super easy. Crop it and you're done. The other thing that's working really well right now is infographics, right? Infographics are every freaking where. And So how do you make them? These are all ones that I've made. This you saw earlier in this deck, right? It's just made by Coggle.it. It's a great mind mapping website. There's a bajillion mind mapping websites. This was made in PowerPoint. I'm actually going to have it redone to be more like one of these. But I've used this one and it's great. This one over here isn't done yet, so you haven't seen it yet probably, but it's called The Alchemy of Speed, and it talks about what do you do to make your organization faster, change faster, move faster. This is my how do you run what makes up Agile. Here's what is it that makes what is this? Hypocrite? This is how to live in integrity, right? So this will have different names. You can't really read it. So what you do with this kind of a Venn diagram is have 3 key things and then the intersection, and then you have these 3 crossovers and you identify what they are. So if you look here, if you live in integrity and have and pursue purpose but don't grow people, you're a good person but not a leader, right? If you live in integrity and grow people, this is number 3 here, but you don't pursue purpose, you're a ship without a rudder, right? You're directionless and frustrating. If you grow people and pursue purpose, but you don't live in integrity, then you're a hypocrite, right? And you send conflicting messages. So if you're right in the middle, that's what makes a key leader. So I've used people on Fiverr to make these for me, and that's what I'm doing these days. To do the graphics is super easy by hiring someone on Fiverr. So this is me using PowerPoint again to create another infographic. This you may have seen me working on it on the podcast that I do, the video podcast that I'm doing, and I'm still working on it. It'll come together, but I'm just tweaking it my way through it. Here's another one. If you went through the pre-webinar video, you saw this part about if you're a technical systems person, right? So I walked you through the merging of 2 infographics, this and this. So you talked about these different things. I don't want to go through it all. As simple as you can get. This is infographic, right? Your coaching profile. Do you approach agility from the technical perspective? Like your home ground. We all move in all of them. Your home ground, is it technical? Is it business? Is it culture? Or is it leadership? Technical, business, culture, leadership. But then your way of interacting, is it as a facilitator, a delegator, a motivator, an advisor, or do you focus on systems? And then where's your home ground, right? So that's an infographic. Super powerful. People love them and they share them like crazy. Just some do's and don'ts. Make complex ideas simple. Help people draw connections, right? That's the power of an infographic, is it helps them see how complex things are interrelated. You're helping show relationships, and you want to be looking forward, not just documenting things that other people have done. So make your infographics unique and something that you do. What I end up doing is I'll often be sitting in a meeting and somebody will ask a question and I'll draw something really fast to describe it. And then I take a picture of that because that becomes an infographic. So that one, this one here, The Alchemy of Delegation, that started out as a conversation with a guy that was asking about one of my posts that said, don't delegate tasks. So he's like, well, what do I delegate then? So I drew this progression of the do, which is the task, to how, to order or sequencing. I used the word order because it was shorter and it fit here. What, and then why. Well, so then I found out that you never really delegate the why, so I changed it here. But I literally scratched it on a piece of paper and took a picture of it with my phone, and then came home and did this that graphic. So these are a couple of great folks on Fiverr that I've used. Fantastic people, and they've done the graphics that you saw there. Another great thing is videos. That video that I started out this webinar with, that was made by a guy on Fiverr. He took a bunch of my past stuff and put it together for me. I'm also doing the daily grind videos. I'm also doing a series right now of videos for searchcio.com and doing these like, what does it mean videos kind of things. Several of them up there. If you go to my authors page on searchcio.com, you can see what's going on with those. Those are hugely popular, right? Videos, everybody loves short videos. Make your videos, 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long. You can make them longer if you're really teaching something powerful, but generally make them short. So here's my tips. Document, don't produce, right? We get hung up on having, again, this is the same thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, just helpful. So make your videos helpful. Say one thing, make one point. Don't try and make 6. Record your speaking engagements. If you speak at a conference or at a dinner or anything like that, record those things. Record webinars like this. And my guy on Fiverr, he's a rock star. He's really, really good. His name is Chris Taylor, and yeah, wow, he's really good. So use him. Where and when to use. Use them only where your influencers look, where buyers or influencers look. So, if that's Instagram, great. If that's Pinterest, great. I don't know who your market is, but go to those people and post there. Don't post where, this is going to sound negative, but don't post it where just the employees are, because they'll get value out of it, but you won't get business out of it. So you can still post to those places, but don't forget to post to places where your customer is. Like, that's why I post to Search CIO so much, because CIOs are buyers. Yeah, the person, who's actually the Scrum Master will get a lot of value from it, but the CIO is the one that's going to hire me to come help you. So you need to balance those two things. So recently I walked into the office of a general manager. So this is a quick story. Walked into the office of a general manager who I had never met him. He shook my hand, literally walked in, shook my hand, and he said, "I've read your book, been to your website, I've read your articles, and read your LinkedIn profile. I like what you have to say, and I like your perspective." Which was pretty, when you walk in cold, you don't expect the person to go, "I know you." But he had done his homework, right? He looked me up, and all those, remember when we went through those pages and my face was on everything? That's what he was seeing. And he shook my hand and said, I like what you have to say. I like your perspective. Here's what I'm thinking about for a project. I mean, it was freaking that fast. Never met him to let's talk about a project. By the end of a 1-hour conversation, we had a scope of a project and we've signed it. This was recent. We signed it a couple weeks ago, and my kickoff meetings with individuals, it's an assessment project, are next week. Nice project. We just worked out the scope, and I didn't have to sell myself. I didn't have to convince him, which is one of those things. If you've done it before, like if you're in the group of people who is doing freelance already, you know what I'm talking about. You have to sell yourself, and it's really hard. But I had built up through years of starting before I launched my business, years of creating content, right? not that it takes years to do. You can overwhelm the internet quickly, and you should do it while you're still an employee, so that when you jump out, it's ready there. It's there to catch you. It was so nice to just get straight to doing work and talking with a CEO on a CEO level, right? It's a great mid 5-figure project, and it'll take me 3 months to do part-time. So low labor intensity on my part, high value project to them, and will probably result in ongoing work, some continued work. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. So that's kind of the view of the future of things for you that can be. So you've seen this webinar and you've heard how all this stuff works. You know that building your brand platform will help you reach those goals, whether it's getting a promotion or building your platform so that someday you can launch a business, making sales easier if you're currently in a business. So for all those reasons, it's smart for you to start right now, start doing these things, start deploying these ideas immediately. Like Matt Kramer, actually, who's a client of mine. He's in my coaching program, one-on-one coaching program. And this is a quote from him, a testimonial that said, why the fact that Joseph, an experienced veteran agile coach, is open and willing to share his wisdom, knowledge, and content has allowed me to take great leaps forward and bypass years of mistakes. So I've been working with him on some of this brand stuff. We've worked with some of my other clients and him on developing content for his own training materials, helping him come up with, it's like if you launch, you have to have your own training materials. So that's one of those things. Oh, I didn't mention it. That's one of those things when you're developing that IP, those infographics and stuff, be super careful that you're doing it on your time and you're doing it with your resources, because it's very possible that if you're an employee and you create things either at the office or with their resources, the content could actually be theirs. The intellectual property, the IP, could be there, so don't screw that up. Similarly, working here with my coaching clients, I'm wanting to be real careful with them. You're developing these PowerPoint presentations to do your external training classes on your own time, in your own materials, with your own thoughts and ideas, blah, blah, blah. So a little tip there, write that one down. Make sure you're not giving all your IP away. So part of what came out of working with Matt and working with a couple of different people, actually over the course of a couple of months, several agile coaches came to me asking for help building their business. And a couple of them I'm coaching one-on-one from my high intensity coaching program. There's like 2 levels of it. One's $1,500 a month and the other's $2,000 a month. That's when you're like, boom, I'm getting ready to launch out of here, or I'm ready to take my business to the next level. That's what you want. I built an additional thing that is a 5-week course. And in that, we'll be implementing these exact same systems that we talked about here. We'll be helping each other. We'll be working together to build your brand, help you create content fast, right? Get it out there. And I'll walk you through step by step, right? I gave you the high levels on a lot of these things, but there's obviously a lot more to it. How do you automate it? Because if you don't automate this stuff, you're going to be working a long time to make it happen. So I'll walk you through step by step how you automate it, how you get it out there, more strategies for repurposing and getting your content out there so that you become ubiquitous, right? So you are omnipresent. Here's what the course will be. It's going to be in April. It's a 5-week in-depth, hands-on intensive. The first week we'll talk about your core message, like who are your who do you want to focus on as your key buyers, right? Even if you're not an employee, if you're not a business owner yet, you want to start targeting. I like to work with, gamers, right? So I'm going to focus on the gaming industry as my target market, and the key buyers for my services in that market are these people. And we'll focus on your message in those key markets in the first week. In the second week, we'll work more on creating that content, right? Fast content creation, more exercises and techniques for creating content quickly so that you can get your brand built up and established fast. And you can overwhelm the Googles with creating a lot of content. It's pretty cool. The third week, we'll work on multiplying that content, building it out and spreading it out, making sure you don't get blacklisted from Google by spamming too much using bad technique, right? So try not to get blacklisted. We'll talk about the automation and getting things set up on a schedule so that you don't have to be always working on this. It can suck your time. You can imagine how much time it could take to do all this if you had to do it all manually, but there's tools out there for it. And I'll walk you through the tools that I use and I've found the most useful, and the tools to avoid because they're not useful. And then the fifth week, I'm leaving as an open forum one because everyone will have questions, and there'll be things that'll come up over those 4 weeks that will go, oh, that's a deep conversation. Let's address that separately, right? And that'll be what the fifth week will cover. So again, this is all applicable if you are an employee or if you're owning your business, right? So we'll be sure and address those things personally. So that's it. It's a 5-week workshop. In that time, you will have unlimited email access to me. So I'll answer all of your emails right away. You'll have unlimited texting with me. Yes, I do text coaching. It's actually kind of a cool thing. People will text me in the moment. Joseph, help! I need this, and I'll text them back what to do or try a technique. We will create a closed Facebook group just for us, where you can post some of your content. So if you want feedback on an infographic that you're building or a process that you're designing, some kind of innovation that you've come up with, then you get feedback on it, or your value proposition, you can get feedback on it right away. You'll also get 2 private half-hour consultations with just me. So you and me on the phone, on Skype, whatever, half an hour. So that is like my private coaching course. They get that intensive time. In that time, you can talk about lots of different things. You can talk about, let's identify what is that niche of yours that you're trying to be in, that you're trying to dominate. Because you can't dominate everything. You can't dominate the world of Agile. It won't work. You have to dominate a niche, right? Maybe we pinpoint your ideal buyers, or talk about what's your value proposition. We can make up your social media calendar for a year, right? Here's what the plan is. Here's the targets that we're trying to hit. We could do this. Calculate your freedom date. What is that date that I want to try and hit to launch my business, right? So what do I need to save to get up there? We didn't talk about any of that stuff in this. We just talked about marketing in this, but we can talk about all kinds of things. What kind of savings do I need to have? What does my budget need to look like? What are all the financial things that need to be in place? We can brainstorm topics for your lists, for your content. We could outline a book. I wrote my book. It's done great stuff for me. Hundreds of people have it. Literally hundreds and hundreds of people have this book. I've given away copies, and that has been my key in the door for so many people. It's just up to you. Whatever you want to cover is what we'll cover in that. So the workshop is going to be $1,500. That's my plan for it in third quarter. But you all are my beta group, right? So it's not going to be $1,500 for you. give you half of that, which is $750, but I'm even going to cut that in half. Not in half. I'll cut that down. And give you a free copy of my book for just $696. So 5 weeks, unlimited contact with me, closed Facebook group with your other peers, 2 half-hour consultations with me, copy of the book, $696. Don't worry, pay it, that's fine, money back guarantee. I'm not a hype guy, so you can tell by the way I'm talking about this. Hype is not my way. I will give you 100% money back guarantee. I will not ask you questions why. Well, I'll ask you questions why, like I want feedback because I want to get better, but I won't try and dissuade you from it. That's not my way, right? 180 days of money back guarantee, no problem, no fine print, no exceptions, no arguments. That's it. So you have no reason not to, like fear of oh, it's not going to work out or it's not going to be what I expected. If it's not what you expected, you get your money back. It's fine, totally fine. So again, there's the book at $27, $1,500 for the workshop. This 2 half-hour consultations is easily $1,000. My high-end coaching one-on-one stuff is $1,500 to $2,000. You get more time in that scenario actually. And actually, I don't know if I put it on here. So that's $2,527 worth of value that all of this could be. And you get it for $696. So that's a no-brainer. It's totally inexpensive. The key here is that we'll do it together, right? It's the accountability of a group of other people who are doing the same thing. So you can come together and go, oh, I struggled with this week, or I have this problem, or I'm dealing with that, or I've had this success. You have somebody to come talk to and go, woo! Because you really probably can't do that in your office if you're an employee, because your employer might be going, why? And start to get worried, right? So you'll have a place where you can come with peers and have great conversations about what's going on and how you're benefiting from it. And so that's the pitch. That's what I'm doing. I'd really love it if you would join me. Actually, I should have put this out here earlier, because there it is. If you want to sign up right now, I should have put that out there at the beginning of the of the discussion there. I'll do that next time I do this. I'm going to do a webinar like this again, probably in 2 weeks. Next week is really slammed for me at a client site, that new client. And when I do that one, well, probably by the end of this week, actually, I will have to change the value on this, right? So the last webinar I did, actually, they got 4 half-hour private consultations because they were my first group. So they got the early bird value. You can actually, when you go to the website and register for it, for I think it's $179, I think it's like $200. You can add 2 more half-hour sessions. That's fine, but you don't get them free. The other guys got it free. The next group is I'm going to raise the price, right? So it's not going to be $696. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be yet, but by the end of the week it'll change. So that's it. That's the sitch. Let me know your questions, concerns, comments. What's going on? What are you thinking? How are people doing out there? If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, click on even if you don't want to do the class, click on the link. It'll just take you to the page and you can read some more about the class and the details about what we could do in it. It's really driven by the people who attend. So that's you. With that, I'm going to bid you adieu. The room will stay open for a little while longer, and Thank you for attending.